What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we have our mid-season review for F1 2014 Part 2, and today we'll be talking about the midfield teams, that is McLaren, Force India and Toro Rosso, and then in the final part coming later this week we'll be talking about Sauber, Lotus, Caterham and Marussia. So let's jump straight in there with the McLaren team, and Jenson Button then is currently 8th in the standings with 60 points and a best result of 3rd place, which came in Australia. And it's looking like that McLaren were going to have a really good season after race 1 from Australia. A double podium finish for them gave them, a really good confidence boost, but it just really hasn't worked out for them. And Button, he's done his usual job, just really consistent, and considering he's 8th, that's higher than the likes of Kimi Räikkönen, in a Ferrari and that better machinery, and also Sergio Perez in the Force India, Force India is probably, pretty similar to the McLaren in terms of pace. I don't think McLaren have done the best of jobs, with the considering they have a Mercedes engine, and that's why I'm giving them a C, because they have loads of resources and they just haven't used them effectively. And I'll give Button a B-. You just sense that, there's something that he could maybe just do a bit better, just that, a show of pace, maybe just one race he really needs to go for that sort of ultimate pace, but he really doesn't have compared to Magnussen now. I think Button sort of lost that pace he had in 2009 and 2011 were definitely his 2 best years. But Magnussen, he's 10th in the standings, he's got 37 points, so nearly half of what Button's got. Magnussen's been quite inconsistent, and of course 18 of those 37 points came in the opening round. He's been in the ultimate pace, like I mentioned before. He's better than Button. He got, I think, 4th on the grid in either Germany or Hungary. But he's been really inconsistent, got involved in some incidents he shouldn't have. And I think overall Button has done the better job. But I'm giving Magnussen the same grade, a B-, just because he's a rookie. But he's done pretty well to match Button. Basically, Button's more consistent, but Magnussen has showed the better overall pace, certainly in qualifying. But I think all the hype around him maybe has got to him a bit, and I don't think he's really delivered yet on a consistent basis. Moving on to Force India, and Force India, sort of a similar sort of year to last year. And the previous few years, I was trying to punch above the weight, and did actually manage to get a podium finish in Bahrain, courtesy of Sergio Perez, who sits 11th in the standings with 29 points, and of course that best result, which is podium. But half his points is that podium in Bahrain. Ever since then, he's been quite inconsistent. He showed bags of pace. I think in Austria was his 2nd best result with his 6th place. He did an amazing job there, and he also picked up, I think, a point, and just a 10th place, which could really contribute to Force India's points total, as they are only 1 point above McLaren. I think Perez has done a solid job, just not consistent enough. It's always been Perez's problem. On his day, he's probably one of the fastest drivers on the grid. He's faster than Hülkenberg, on that ultimate pace. But, he barely reaches that, and sort of, standard week in, week out, Hülkenberg's been a lot better, showed the better pace, and also a very good consistency. Everyone was really surprised, of course, by Germany, because we've just been so used to him, finishing and scoring points and not getting involved in any incidents that were his fault. But, that was clearly his fault, and you take out his teammate. Flashbacks of Brazil 2012, I think, came into mind, came into view for me. They were on for a really good double points finish until he ruined it for both of them. But Hülkenberg's done a solid job, 69 points in 7th. That's above both McLaren's and Kimi Räikkönen. Why is he not in a top seat? I don't know. But to be honest, at Force India, I think he's got quite a good place there. I think really the only place he could really go that was better is probably Ferrari. Realistically, I couldn't really see him going anywhere else. He's not really linked with any other teams. And I think if he went to McLaren, maybe with the Honda engines it'd be better. But I certainly want Hülkenberg, as a Force India fan, to stay at Force India. But just for him personally, I think it's better for him to try and move up, I think, to McLaren or Ferrari most realistically. So just to recap then, Force India get a B+, always punching above the weight. They delivered a really good car. Hülkenberg gets an A-, and Perez gets a B-. Both have done a really solid job. But anyway, let's move on to the final team to talk about in this episode, and that is Scuderia Toro Rosso. A usual sort of season, really bad reliability. Toro Rosso always seem to have really bad reliability, and 2014 is pretty much no different. They've sort of had a very average car. I think it's more to do with Lotus and Sauber struggling than them really improving. But they're on for a 7th place in the standings, which will be one of their best results, I think. Possibly their best result since 2008, which was just a mega year for them. Can they get back to that? Maybe. But you know, there's a lot of work to be done for Toro Rosso, but I think the main purpose, of course, is being a B team. But hopefully they should get some more. I think Red Bull should put a bit more into them to try and move them up the grid. I think it'd be really good to see if they were, you know, more so fighting with Force India. But let's move on to the drivers then. I've got also just to recap, I've given Toro Rosso a C minus. You know, the reliability of the car has been a major issue, and I don't think they've done the best job with that. Vern and Fiat have really suffered from that. Fiat currently 15th in the standings with 6 points, and his best finish is 9th, while Vern doing it, you know, statistically a better job. He's in 13th with 11 points and 8th place times 2. But you know, Vern and Fiat have had really bad reliability. I think them and Sutil have had the worst reliability on the grid, and it's just really bad for them. Fiat's done a solid job. I think he's really impressed, and you know, looks to be moving to Red Bull possibly in a few years. You know, he shortcutted, sort of leapfrogged, sort of Felix Costa and Carlos Sainz Jr. And he's definitely proved why they signed him. He's done a great job. He gets a B+ from me, and Vern gets a C+. You just think, is that a bit more that Vern can give? But you know, he matched Daniel Ricciardo last year. He beat him in 2012 and just lost out to him by a point last year. So you do wonder, could Vern put in that Red Bull? Could he be beating Sebastian Vettel just like Daniel Ricciardo is now? We'll probably never find out, because I just can't see Vern moving to Red Bull or staying at Toro Rosso. So I think possibly this could be his last year, despite it being a really solid year, and him being above both Lotus drivers, both Southwest drivers, and his teammates. But it could be the last year for Vern. But anyway, let me know down in the comments, is it Vern's last year? Why are McLaren underperforming so much? And will Nico Hulkenberg ever get a podium? And also leave your ratings for each driver. And also the next episode, as I mentioned before, will feature Marussia, Caterham, Sauber, and Marussia. So much for everything then. I'll see you guys next time, and goodbye.